wonderful friends. I hope you're having a great day out there in your gardens or inside, cozy next to the fireplace in your home. Well, I was really tired of being freezing cold and living in the single digits in Pennsylvania, so I decided to fly down to sunny Orlando, Florida, where the temperature is currently 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Don't worry, all the content you're going to see in this video is going to be garden related. I specifically chose this hotel, which I believe is called the Rosen Creek Resort, because it has an on-site vegetable garden just like the one that I used to work at. It also has lovely formal gardens around all of the pools. So I want to tour you around the hotel, and then we're going to head over to the Orlando flower market. At most flower markets, you have to be a wholesale florist in order to enter them, but at the Orlando flower market, anyone can come visit, so I'm super excited to take you there as well. And then I'll just show you bits and pieces from the trip. I'm here for 3 days. So let's take a look around the vegetable garden. I love the layout of this. We've got a nice gravel pathway, and you're just surrounded by vegetables. You know, it just goes to show that a vegetable garden is just as beautiful as an ornamental garden. Maybe even more beautiful in some ways. I believe we have some onions growing down here. Look at the soil. The soil looks fantastic. And you know, you can smell that wonderful soil. It just hits you right in the face and fills you with happiness. Yes, definitely some onions right here that are a little bit further along. This hotel is huge. It has 3 pools, an adults only pool, a family pool, and then a lap pool. I'm hoping to swim some laps later today. And then if I didn't mention it yet, there is a golf course on the property also. Just great use of color here. Isn't kale beautiful? How about a bunch of kale in a vase? I would like to look at that while drinking my morning coffee. Nice row of celery right here. Friends, as you probably can tell, I don't have my microphone with me on this trip, but I will try to mess with the levels while I'm editing and make it so you can hear me at the same level throughout our time together. I love this island that she or he has created here in the center. Instead of just doing, you know, a straight big rectangular block, they've added a little bit of whimsy and a little bit of character by curving it in certain places, outlining it with some river rock. I would love to know what are the bugs that they have in this area, because whenever I've grown Swiss chard, broccoli, cabbage, any brassica, well, they just get eaten up by the cabbage moth if you don't cover them. Everything here looks incredibly healthy. So beautiful. And here we have some root crops. Carrots right next door. I'm assuming that we have limes growing up here, but I don't know for sure. I tried to grow some lemons inside our house once, and that was a major fail. All the leaves fell off, and I didn't know what I did wrong. Smell that dill. Can you smell that through the screen? Let's do a little scratch and sniff. viewing today. Tomatoes rambling along the ground. Oh, how do they have tomatoes and kale growing at the same time? This is so confusing. I'm not sure what this plant is. I was trying to figure it out earlier. Does anyone know what that is? See the limes up there? The sun is coming out now. Well, it's just so beautiful. And I'll just do a slow pan of the entire garden for you. Oh, here comes the sun. And my heart is ready for it. All right, friends, let's walk together. Oh, sorry, went out of focus there. Okay, let's walk together back to the hotel lobby so I can show you some of the formal gardens. Now, what's in the raised beds over here? Oh, it looks like blueberries. Blueberries, and I'm guessing that's either a peach or a nectarine. It says ice cream mango, actually. Well, I have a lot to learn about growing plants in a tropical location. So there's the hotel in the distance. Let's walk along the golf course back to the hotel. It's really interesting because most of the hedging plants here are plants that I know as house plants. For instance, I think this is umbrella plant. I've never seen it growing outside before. It's always been sold as a house plant where I come from. It's just fascinating to be in a completely different growing zone. Now, some of you, I bet, are gonna recognize this plant. I can't remember the exact name, but I think it's like a wild petunia. If you buy this in my area, it's a tiny little annual. And here, it is obviously being used as a hedging shrub. What do you think? Knockout roses here? That's my guess. Let me know what you think. We're gonna walk by a big stand of bamboo before we arrive back at the hotel. It's kind of a long walk, so I'll fast forward and I'll meet you over there. Here's a look at the back of the hotel. They've got a lot of lovely fountains everywhere. And right here in the center, they have a formal garden. They're utilizing a lot of yew in this garden and also knockout roses. The yew is different too because the needles are thicker and longer than what I'm used to seeing in Pennsylvania. Do you guys know what kind of yew this is? This is where I'm hoping to spend the majority of my time today, over here in this adults only lap pool. But this is what I was telling you about over in the vegetable garden. They have violas growing this time of year, but they also have tomatoes growing. How does that work? Look at the soil though. Really wonderful, rich soil they're working with here. And these violas are situated underneath, underneath palm trees. Oh, that's so amazing. Thank goodness for the sun. It looks like there's already someone in there swimming, so I don't want to interrupt them. Over in that area is the family pool. can head over there now and I'll show you that area. The hotel is still decorated for Christmas. I'll make sure and show you the Christmas tree they have in the entrance area. It's really beautiful. Lots of golds and silvers. Love seeing the grass texture there. I don't think there's anyone in this pool yet. I arrived at about 5:30 last night, so I just walked around a little bit, but I didn't use any of the pools yet. And tonight we're gonna eat up there at the Italian restaurant where they use the produce from the vegetable garden that we just toured. That'll be really fun. I'll make sure I show you what I get. We'll get something with in-house vegetables for sure. I keep seeing more and more houseplants, or quote-unquote houseplants. I'm seeing corn plants, umbrella plants like I mentioned, crotons, and I'm not sure what this succulent looking plant is back here. Let me get a close-up on it for you. Some of you that live in Florida and Georgia are probably making fun of me right now for not knowing what any of these plants are. Okay, Southern friends, what are we looking at here? Whatever it is, I like it, and I want to dig it up and bring it home with me on the plane. You know what it reminds me of is that houseplant crown of thorns. My grandma loved that plant. She was always propagating it. Now, do you guys think that these are crepe myrtles and they just chopped off the top? What's going on there? We're leaving the family pool area now, and we're heading into the adults only pool area. Now, do you guys like to relax by the pool, or do you like to exercise in a pool? I hate the gym and I hate exercising, but I love exercising with a purpose, and for some reason swimming laps feels like exercising with a purpose. Same thing with gardening. I mean, essentially you're just exercising all day long. But what do you do in the dead of winter when you can't garden? Come to Florida and swim laps, I guess. Here's a better view of that formal garden from up above. I can't believe it's January 9th and it's 82 degrees outside. There's no one out here. It's about 11 a.m. now. I've got my new Freedom McFadden book, The Coworker. I think I've read almost all of her books now with the exception of this one. I kept seeing in the reviews that people didn't like this because she mentioned turtles too much in it, which I thought was kind of weird, but now that I'm reading it, yes, it's true. There's too much talk of turtles, but I don't even care. Nothing's gonna put me in a bad mood today because this is my view for the next 5 hours. Good morning, wonderful friends. It looks like they might be having a wedding today. It's now Saturday, and today we're going to venture over to, I think, what's called the Leu Gardens, L-E-U. I wanted to pop back over here to the vegetable garden. You know, sometimes with these agro-tourism gardens, they're more for show than for use. But the more time I spend in here, the more I think this is at least partially for use, because I see lots of successions of the same exact vegetable. For instance, back here you can see a whole new planting of radishes, cabbage, lettuce, even carrots you'll see as we wander around this direction. So I think that this is an agro-tourism farm garden, but it also is being used. The garden that I used to manage was the farm at the Amish Inn, and the vegetables that we produced over there went to Miller's Smorgasbord, the Amish Inn, and Smokestack Barbecues and Brews. So if you ever went to any of those, you might have been eating some of the vegetables that I grew. But I also even see some peppers in here. The more I walk around the garden, the more I'm wondering to myself, is there just essentially one growing season here? You know how up in the north we have a cool season and a warm season? Maybe they don't have a cool and warm season here. Maybe it's just all the same season. And that's the way they can grow all these plants at the same time. For instance, in our area, if you grew things like, let's say for instance, arugula, it would be bolted by the time you would have your peppers growing and turning colored. And here we have orange peppers and arugula that hasn't bolted yet. So it's really quite fascinating. Also, a wonderful compost pile right here that's being utilized. Rosemary is my husband's favorite plant. Wanted to get some footage of that for him. Gorgeous marigolds. I could spend all day in here. Also, what is wrong with me? This is clearly amaranth. The other day I said, what is this? That was the first time I had walked around the garden, and to be honest with you, I didn't sleep at all the first night here. I think I was just so wound up from the plane ride. And you can see there with the kale, they are harvesting it and using it. Gorgeous cabbage. Over here it's interesting because they've got some broccoli in the front and cabbage in the back. The cabbage has more of a broad, rounded leaf, and broccoli has a more narrow, oval leaf. Stunning. Stunning job. I'll never forget, there was one day when I was working over at Plain and Fancy, and these ladies entered the garden. It was just open to the public, you know, and they had all these grocery bags with them, and they just started picking everything. And you know, I avoid conflict at all cost, so I just continued to work and said nothing to them, and they took at least 10 bags of produce from that garden and they just left. And I was right there working, so who knows what happened when I wasn't there, but honestly, I didn't care. Anyway, I just wanted to take one more look at this garden before we head over to a garden that we have to pay for. So I really have been enjoying this hotel. I think if you're traveling alone or if you have older children, this is a great place to stay. There's almost no one here, and it seems like they use it mainly as a conference center, like this whole wing right here. Oh, sorry about my finger. This whole wing is a conference center, and then the hotel is over there. So during the day, I think that everyone here is mainly at a conference, so you really have the pools to yourself, the hotel to yourself. It's busy in the morning and it's really busy in the evening. But anyway, all right, let's head over to Leu Gardens. All right, friends, here we are at the Leu Gardens. It was $15 to get in, no discount for garden professionals. I'm already so blown away. Look at this. They have poinsettias in the ground. We're definitely not in Pennsylvania anymore. Let's walk down here to the lake together. Look at all this Spanish moss in the trees. I mentioned that about garden professionals because a lot of the gardens in Pennsylvania, if you work in the nursery industry, if you're a garden writer or photographer, you usually just have to show proof of your work and you can get into the gardens for free. Take for instance Chanticleer. If you work in the industry, you don't have to pay to get in there. Very peaceful here, nice and quiet. I think we're in luck because it appears that the camellias and the roses are in bloom. I still can't get over how they have poinsettias planted in the ground. Oh, how lovely. You know, my neighbor has a camellia, and I think she covers hers with burlap over the winter season. She's also growing it up her house, so it's getting a lot of protection. Seems like every single tree here is covered in Spanish moss. I don't know what this tree is, but it's gorgeous. The flowers it produces look like lilies. Petals are falling to the ground now. I'm not sure which way to go. Why don't we take a right and see what happens? Wow. I just can't stop thinking, look at all these houseplants growing outside. Philodendron, bananas, bromeliads. There's just something about the sound of water that has healing power. I'm also seeing a lot of foxtail ferns everywhere. I believe that's what you're seeing on the left-hand corner of your screen. We saw a lot of those. Oh, look at this! Oh, I've tried to grow this plant before in Pennsylvania and it stays pretty tiny. I tried to overwinter it in the basement once before. I think I lost it around February. Certainly is a tropical paradise. Here's Thai plant. We'll get some footage of this little stream for you. That's my favorite part so far. The one thing that I'm noticing is that I don't see any bugs anywhere. Not at the resort, not here, not at different restaurants that I've gone to. I don't see bees. I just don't see critters like you do in Pennsylvania. This is a tree fern right here. I'm not sure, but I've seen Monty Don talk about those. Doesn't he have some in his garden in England? I think he might cover those up with burlap also. I'm guessing this is some kind of a philodendron. Let's see. Oh my goodness, boy am I wrong. It's a peace lily. Sensation peace lily. How about this, friends? Do you have a corn plant in your house right now? Look how big this corn plant is. It just keeps going and going. Hopefully we don't see any alligators today. Oh, here's another house plant. You guys might have seen this at Lowe's if you live around me. Bat flower. Those always seem to turn up in bloom right after the holiday season, I guess right around now, in bloom. The flowers do look just like bats. Kind of creepy. Not a lot of people here today. I think it was about 78 degrees Fahrenheit when I got out of the rental car. A nice easy drive from the resort over here, about 24 minutes. It says this is called conehead flower. Lovely. Oh, look at this view. Here we are at the Rose Garden. It looks like this is set up for the holidays still. I'm thinking these half stars peeking through the ground light up in the evening. It looks like we have a lot of the same rose planted in quadrants. I'm not seeing any labels on the roses, but I'm almost thinking these are mainly the knockout series of roses. I know we have some rosarians here, so if you can help me identify any of these roses, I sure would appreciate it. I see some hybrid tea roses in the back, but I feel like these are carpet and knockout roses. What do you guys think? I wonder if they're stripping these low reliefs on purpose to help with disease management, or if they're just defoliating on their own. This one does have a tag, Belinda's Dream. We have some grandiflora roses over here. This one's called About Face. We just left the rose garden over there. And I wanted to show you this island that has poinsettias and liriope growing underneath a magnolia. We've got almost a pinwheel planting going poinsettia, liriope, poinsettia, backed up with these trees smothered in Spanish moss. I saw this plant at the hotel and I'd like to figure out what it is. I don't see a tag. This is a really sweet courtyard. Nice swing here. Oh, begonias. Oh, guys, remember I was telling you about my grandma loving crown of thorns? Here it is. Except, of course, when we grew it, when I was little, it was about this big. But you can just cut that, stick it in soil, and it will grow more crown of thorns for you. Rex begonia. I love Rex begonia. It looks like we have some cool raised beds in this area. Oh, isn't that fun? Look at that. Violas, gomphrena, and really short delphiniums in there. Here we are at the secret garden. Everyone loves a secret garden. You have to whisper in the secret garden. So what did you guys think of the Leu Gardens? Were you impressed? Did you have a favorite area? I think I liked the tropical garden best, and I really loved that small stream that was just running through that entire garden. I think that today they were dismantling the Christmas display. I did go around to some other gardens and there were a lot of crew members there just tearing things down, pulling lights off things. So I'm not sure I got the full experience, but that's totally okay. I just decided to head back to the hotel. There's so many beautiful gardens here, plus all the pools. And I just decided to finish my Frida McFadden book, which was okay, but I'll tell you what, if you like her or you like psychological thrillers, the one you want to read, it's not just the Housemaid series, it's Never Lie. That is by far her best book. Anyway, it's about 7 o'clock now. I got shower number 2, I got some makeup on, and now I'm gonna head down to the Italian restaurant. It's called Calabella, which translates loosely to a beautiful cove. Beautiful creek is probably what they were going for there. But let's head down there. I saw that they have octopus on the menu. Now, I grew up in an Italian family, a really big Italian family. Most everybody was Catholic. We did the Feast of the Seven Fishes, all that kind of stuff. So I'm used to eating some really weird fish, but I have never had octopus. So I think I'm gonna go for it. I wanted to try alligator while I was here. Haven't gotten around to that yet, so maybe we'll do that tomorrow. So the plan for the rest of the night is just take in the hotel in the evening, eat dinner together, and then tomorrow we'll head over to the Orlando Flower Market before we head back to very cold Pennsylvania, where I believe it is currently 24 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, let's go downstairs. Walking back to where my car is parked, And I see that there's some umbrella plant over here that has formed berries. I had no idea that this plant produced berries. Did you guys know that? It's stunning. Oh my goodness. All right, let's go on an adventure. Straight away, I see this gorgeous baby's breath that appears to be dyed a lovely rose color. Bells of Ireland. Lots of dyed plants over here. Sea holly. Oh look, my favorite, Dara. Wax flower. Oh, look, they even have the sunflowers in wrappers. My husband just bought me a bouquet the other day and they had the mums wrapped up like that. Got a lot of tulips over there. Let's backtrack here a little bit. Calla lilies. Anemones. Lots of really nice calla lilies. Beautiful orchids and alliums. Oh, look at these orchids. Aren't they fantastic? Got a lot of greenery over here. I'm not sure exactly what I want to get. I want to take something back to the hotel. Got a lot of different mums that we could choose from. But I think I want to get something that is hard to find in Amish country. Oh, some stock would be nice. We could fill up the room with some really nice fragrance. Canterbury bells. Oh, I probably won't be able to resist that delphinium. Lots of beautiful roses. This one says it's called Princess Crown. I love that one. Got some amaranth here. Green hydrangeas. Gorgeous white ranunculus and white roses. That might be heading off to an event. Look at all of these stunning, stunning arrangements that they have down here. They've got the roses with the reflex petals. Gorgeous white hydrangeas with bells of Ireland, eucalyptus, and also some white stock. Even see some Orlea grandiflora in there. Straw flower, billy balls, ornamental cabbage. I'm not sure what that is. Scabiosa. Oh, they have a Astranthia. Okay, I've never grown this. I've only seen pictures of it. Isn't it gorgeous? Maybe we should get that instead. So many beautiful things to choose from. Really nice status in here. They've got all the colors that you could ever want. More beautiful status here. And some really lovely carnations. How do you feel about carnations? Are they in or are they out? Well, good morning, gardening friends. It's Wednesday now, and I've been home for a few days. Grace wanted to pop into the video and say hi to everyone. I think she definitely missed us. Well, it was such a wonderful trip. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in Florida. Honestly, I already want to go back. You know, I was kind of living on a high the first day home, then the Eagles lost. The next day, the Steelers lost. And now all I can think about is how cold and brown it is here. So who knows, maybe there's another trip to Florida in our future. It was less than $100 to get down there on Breeze Airways. And you think of how quickly you can spend $100 anymore. I just think that at this point in my life, I'm gonna be 40 this year. I wanna use all of my extra money for traveling. That's just what I wanna do. I don't want any things. I just wanna have more experiences. Well, friends, I wanna wish you a wonderful day out there in your gardens, and I'll see you sometime real soon. I'm not sure where we'll land. Bye.